Good evening, everyone, from the Shadow War. Yes, we're back. Antietam, 1862. It's all over. Yes, it's now Monday evening. I couldn't face doing it Sunday night, and to be honest, I was down the pub. So yes, this is the post-game video at last. Cracking game, as of course you always hope there will be, but this was a belter. Great fun having Ian, Per and Grumps over, and we had a great game. Yeah, we don't play a lot of Pickers Charge, but you know, they're easy to pick up, and we had a fantastic day of gaming. Even got some pizza in at half time, and we kept trundling along from I think we finished just after 6, I think, before Grumps had to grab a taxi and go home. So yeah, great game, a great day's gaming, and you know, it's always lovely to get the 28mm out, get them out onto a nice tabletop, you know, spend the time getting the terrain ready, and then, you know, as I say, friends come around and we have a belt over a game. So yeah, it's a shame to have to pack this one away. We're going to have to, those who come up to the long weekend next week. Got things to do, places to be, so yeah, this will have to be packed away eventually. But a very quick summary for you. Well, the game basically is the first corps attack against the Confederate lines at Antietam in the morning of the battle. Basically, Hooker's first corps was tasked to clear the Confederate line, which basically you can still see is pretty well intact. That's really where it started. It hasn't been shifted. The rebels' job was, of course, to hold them off as long as possible. And in this game, they were doing a fairly good job. Ian had, at the end of his attacks, he tried to move through the woods here. Got to say, got a bit of a mess over here. He never really got any traction in threatening that flank until his artillery got deployed. And then, in the end, you know, he still wasn't making any progress. He was knocking out units, but not really advancing. Whereas in the centre, it's a really tough nut to crack, let's be honest. Not only have you got to go out of the cornfield, across the open ground and take on those infantry, but there's off-board artillery. Actually, both sides have off-board artillery, and they were murderous for both sides. So it's a really tough ask, and to be fair, Grumps came up tops on this big charge here in the centre. He stopped the 1st Brigade, and then the centre, and the 2nd Brigade. Ian rolled well, but young Grumps rolled even better and stopped it cold. By the way, I've taken all the markers off and casualties because I slightly distract you when you're looking at lovely figures, you know, and terrain. But yeah, there was to take my word for it, there was an awful lot of casualties on this table. And yeah, a lot of units on both sides were totally knackered. We've got a fresh brigade coming up with Per to be using them, and Per tried a little bit at the end. He was doing really well. He actually pushed me back out of this wood. You can see I'm still there, but I'll tell you right now, both those units were totally trashed, and he's behind my flank now as well. So it was not looking good, hence that line there and that line there were becoming more and more important. But for some reason, Per got these blood up, and rather than just carry on these cautious and well-received attacks, he decided to race across this field, straight into the teeth. There were 2 batteries, there's only one there, and those infantry, which promptly blew him to bits. I think he was rather upset with that, but as I would too, to be perfectly honest. You wonder why you do things like that when you realise what the power of the infantry rifle musket could be, and canister. And yeah, they promptly fled off back where they came from. So at the end of the game, as totally expected, we only played turns 1 to 10. The Union had not broken through. The Confederates had not deployed any of their reinforcements. They were still actually 3 turns away, but they weren't going to be needed at the moment. I think what was worrying for us as the Confederate commanders was this attack. It could have easily gone the other way, and if you look at the number of units that are there, if they had smashed through these Georgian boys, there isn't a lot really, you know, that can be done. I mean, yeah, we can try and hold the line and reform, but the momentum's then with the Union, and the attack on the flank can then develop. So we were very lucky there, very lucky. So good die rolling, Grumps. About the actual decent die roll that he did of the whole game. We jokingly said that Grumps actually doesn't even know what the word initiative means, because we won 1 initiative roll out of 10. It was pretty funny after a while. And well, there's dark humour, you know, you got the game where it's just like, what's the point? We already know you won the initiative. So yeah, fantastic day's gaming. I love these figures. The rules are very good. I know some people are calling out for a Pickers Charge 2. Honestly, truly, bit of common sense, a few tweaks here now and again. You can upgrade it yourself. You know, another big shout out for Ian's ADC rules. Love them. They are such a splendid thing to work with, and we really tested them out this time because there's some great extreme die rolling between the ADCs and the mechanism, and we've never had that before. We've always had very close die rolls, which means the number of ADCs and things was relatively balanced throughout the game, whereas in this game there were some extremes, and the number of ADCs the Union got to use was far more than the Confederates across the whole game. So very interesting, and I don't think it really changed the outcome in any shape or form. In fact, I would say it helped the Union do as well as they did. So yeah, I think it's a great mechanism. We tried it now for Napoleonics, and we tried it now for ACW. It's great. So anyway, that's it, everybody. Yep, 6 minutes long. Sorry about that. I'm whittering on again, a bit too long. But yeah, so it's a goodbye to Antietam for a while. We'll probably get up again, probably in the winter, and get the guys down again. But anyway, so goodbye from the trampled cornfield. Currently, completely and utterly under the control of the Union. So that is a slight change in history at this part of the battle. So take care, everybody. Please stay in touch. Please watch out for any new videos that come up. And see you soon. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.